You're afraid to say no even when they're using you like a fucking doormat, aren't you? Listen up, you spineless piece of shit. Every time you nod like a brain-dead puppet when someone dumps their problems on you, every time you smile when you want to scream, every time you say yes when your soul is screaming hell no, you're not being nice, you're being pathetic. And if you're not ready to face this ugly truth about yourself, you can scroll away right now. Your precious feelings won't save you here. But if you've got the balls to look in the mirror, stay. Because I'm about to show you why your inability to say no is slowly murdering everything you could have been. You think you're being considerate? Bullshit. You're being a coward. Every yes you give when you mean no is you selling another piece of your soul to avoid 5 seconds of uncomfortable silence. You've turned yourself into a human vending machine. Put in some guilt, get out compliance. Press the right buttons, and boom! There you are, sacrificing your time, your energy, your fucking sanity for people who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. But here's the sickest part. You actually believe this makes you a good person. You wear your martyrdom like a badge of honor, don't you? Oh, I'm just helping others. I can't let them down. They need me. What a load of self-righteous horseshit. You're not helping anyone. You're enabling them to be lazy, manipulative parasites while you slowly transform into their personal slave. Let me paint you a picture of your pathetic reality. It's 11 p.m. You're exhausted. You've got your own mountain of problems, and your phone buzzes. It's that friend who only calls when they need something. Your gut screams, ignore it. But what do? You fucking answer. Because God forbid someone thinks you're not available 24/7 for their emotional diarrhea. 2 hours later, you're lying in bed, emotionally drained, listening to their same old sob story about how their life is falling apart. Meanwhile, your own life is crumbling because you spent the evening being their unpaid therapist instead of handling your own shit. But hey, at least they think you're such a good listener, right? Wrong. They think you're a convenient fucking idiot. And the worst part? They're right. You want to know why people keep dumping on you? Because you've trained them to. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're sending a clear message. My time has no value, my needs don't matter, and I exist solely for your convenience. You become the human equivalent of a public toilet. Everyone knows they can shit on you whenever they need to, and you'll just sit there and take it. But here's what really fucks with your head. Deep down, you know this. You know you're being used. You can feel the resentment building every time you agree to something you don't want to do. But instead of getting angry at the right people, you get angry at yourself. You call yourself selfish for wanting boundaries. You guilt yourself for having needs. You've become your own worst enemy, and you don't even realize it.
This is where the real mindfuck begins. You've convinced yourself that saying no makes you a bad person. Where did this toxic programming come from? Let me guess. Childhood, right? Maybe you had parents who only showed you love when you were being helpful. Maybe you learned that your worth was tied to your usefulness. Maybe you discovered that saying no led to rejection, anger, or guilt trips that made you feel like shit. So you adapted. You became the yes person, the reliable one, the one who never complains, never refuses, never puts themselves first. And everyone praised you for it. You're so selfless. You're such a team player. I don't know what I'd do without you. The validation felt good, didn't it? It felt like love. But it wasn't love, it was conditioning. You were being trained like a fucking dog to perform on command. And now, years later, you can't even remember who you are underneath all that people-pleasing bullshit. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. Your need to be needed is not noble, it's selfish as fuck. You're not helping people out of genuine care. You're doing it because you're addicted to feeling important. You're a validation junkie, and other people's problems are your drug. Every time someone comes to you with their drama, you get a hit of that sweet, sweet, I'm needed dopamine. But like any addiction, the high doesn't last. Soon, you need bigger doses, more problems to solve, more people to save, more opportunities to prove how indispensable you are. Meanwhile, your own life becomes a wasteland of unmet goals and abandoned dreams because you're too busy being everyone else's emotional janitor.
And the people using you? They don't respect you for it. They pity you. Behind your back, they call you a pushover. They joke about how easy you are to manipulate. They know exactly which buttons to push to get what they want from you, and they laugh about it. You think you're building relationships, but you're actually building resentment, both in yourself and in others. Because here's another harsh reality. People don't actually respect doormats. They use them, sure. But respect? That's reserved for people who have boundaries, who value themselves enough to say no when necessary. Respect is earned by standing for something, not by falling for everything. The word no isn't just a word. It's a fucking superpower. It's the difference between being a person and being a resource. It's the line between self-respect and self-destruction. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to something that does. Every boundary you set is a declaration that your life has value beyond your utility to others. But saying no feels terrifying, doesn't it? Your brain immediately starts generating worst-case scenarios. What if they get angry? What if they don't like me anymore? What if they think I'm selfish? What if they abandon me? These fears feel real because in your mind, they are real. You've built your entire identity around being useful. So the thought of being useless feels like death. Let me tell you what actually happens when you start saying no. At first, some people will be shocked. They'll try to guilt you, manipulate you, make you feel bad for setting boundaries. These people will reveal themselves as the parasites they always were. Good. Let them be angry. Let them leave. Anyone who gets pissed off because you stop letting them use you was never your friend anyway.
The real people in your life, the ones who actually give a shit about you, will respect your boundaries. They might be surprised at first, but they'll adjust. Because real relationships aren't built on one person being the eternal giver and the other being the eternal taker. Real relationships require mutual respect, and respect starts with self-respect. Here's your first assignment, you spineless fuck. Practice saying no to small things. When the barista asks if you want the receipt, say no. When the cashier tries to sell you some bullshit warranty, say no. When your coworker asks you to cover their shift for the third time this month, say no. Start flexing that no muscle with low-stakes situations so it's strong enough for the big ones. Stop explaining yourself. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on why you're not available to solve their problems. No, I can't do that. Period. End of story. The more you explain, the more ammunition you give them to argue with your decision. And here's the most important part. Stop feeling guilty about having needs. You're not a machine designed to serve others. You're a human being with your own dreams, goals, and limitations. Your time is finite. Your energy is finite. Your emotional capacity is finite. When you give these things away without discrimination, you're not being generous, you're being wasteful. The ultimate irony is when you start saying no to the wrong things, you'll finally have the space to say yes to the right things. Real opportunities, real relationships, real growth. All the shit that matters but gets crowded out by your compulsive people-pleasing. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep being everyone's emotional tampon, soaking up their problems while your own life falls apart?
Or are you going to grow some fucking spine and start acting like your life matters? The choice is yours. But choose quickly, because every day you spend being a doormat is another day stolen from the person you could have become. Stop being convenient. Start being unavailable. Your no is your freedom.